Evening, everyone. Hope you're all okay. Welcome to week 7 of the RIAK E-Racer Supreme Series. Thanks firstly to all of our regulars that are shifted over, whether you're joining us on the live Zoom feed or on the live stream. Appreciate it. Anyone following the sort of developments with Wahoo RGT recently will understand why we decided to switch over to a Monday. Makes a lot more sense, considering that this series is all about e-racing, all about developing kind of your ability to handle the demands of an e-race. Okay, so starting off, my name is Rich. For anyone that is new to these sessions, I'm the founder and head coach of RIAK Fitness. We're a cycling and triathlon coaching outfit, doing all kinds of coaching and training plans, predominant of which is our tri-squad membership, and then our cycling coaching relationships, which are fully supervised, pretty much a kind of full service package with live squad sessions running much similar to this, strength and conditioning workshops with just exclusive to the squad, and of course all the coach communication. We've got training weekends in London, all kinds of shenanigans. So if you're interested in a bit of personal coaching, check out our page on the website. And yeah, last bit of admin, just a quick shout out to our training partners. Sundride, you'll see I've gone completely different to last time where I was wearing a full length jersey. Today I'm got my extremely white arms out, almost translucent. I'm worried that I'm sort of merging into the wall behind me, really. See, there is a human being here. You might just see these, well, even the teeth would probably merge in. There's a floating microphone and some bib shorts. Yeah, so tonight I'm wearing the base layer, and last week I talked a little bit about moving into the winter, and Sunday I do some fantastic kind of accessories, and this one being my personal favourite, the thermal base layer. And the reason I like it so much is, guys, when it's winter and it's cold and you want to layer up, if you've got sort of a sleeve multiple times, you sort of walk around like Michelin Man, sort of waddling, you can't move your arms properly. So I particularly like a thermal, sleeveless thermal base layer, because it's just one less layer where I'm not restricted in the arms. I like a little bit of cyclocross, so I'm always layered up and out in the mud. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. You're here because you want to work hard, and that's what we're about. So this e-racing series, as I say, designed to support the Wahoo RGT e-races. We're now right into the thick of it. For those that are watching this on demand, we're coming towards the end of October. It's getting dark, it's getting pretty miserable. It's rained for pretty much the last 5 days straight here in the UK. And yeah, so the e-racing is properly kicked off. Now, this is week 7, so we're getting to really serious stuff. This is a progressive series. Don't stress, though, if you are new to this series. We're going to be running the majority of it with erg mode turned off. So if you've got a smart trainer or a smart bike, I'm going to show you how to turn erg mode off shortly. You don't need to do it now. We'll go through the warm-up, go through those 4 little first initial spikes, which are fast pedaling efforts, and then we'll turn it off. The reason that's good if you're new to this series is because basically the main efforts, the intervals that we're going to be in today are just as hard as you can go. So it doesn't really matter what the power targets are. They're slightly arbitrary because we have to put something in, but essentially we're just going to be going as hard as we can go, because that's what you've got to do in an e-race. Essentially, don't necessarily have a choice over the power target that you hit. It's basically work hard, try and get on that wheel, recover and go again. It's a very short and blunt way of describing e-racing, and probably bike racing in general, really. So I'll talk a little bit more about the workout in a second. Firstly, though, we're just on the warm-up, coming towards the end of the second step in the warm-up. So every 2 minutes we're going to increase the power by about 6 to 10 watts. Just make sure your leg speed's creeping up as the power does. So make sure you're above at least 80 RPM. Okay, and keep the fluids coming on board. depending on what time of day it is for you, wherever you are, and particularly in the morning, get those fluids on board before you train. Okay, because you will sweat a lot over the course of the night and you will be dehydrated. Ideally, if you're training in the morning, an electrolyte drink before you train, just so your hydration is optimal. It will make you feel better, guys, I promise you. And if you've not been able to drink much over the course of the day as well, okay, well, from personal experience, I've had really bad sessions and where, you know, I've not been able to drink much, not fuel properly, and you know, you just struggle really. So let's get it right. Just top tip for future reference, probably a good idea to get an electrolyte drink on before a session like this, because it will be a sweat fest. So normal 10-minute build, every 2 minutes building up, 6 to 10 watts, just working our way through that zone 2 to my lovely little training zone chart. So this is a sprint to zone 2, so working up, we started at 56% of FTP, we're now working up towards, where are we now? About 64% of FTP, and then we're going to go up to 68 and then 72, and then we're getting into those fast pedaling efforts. They are high powered. Okay, let me just double check the workout very quickly. So they are high powered, they are in zone 5, so those are VO2 max type efforts. They're short and sharp, they're only about 30 seconds, but the point of them really is to get you kind of spinning up your legs nice and fast. Okay, I'll talk you through those, don't worry. And then once we've gotten through those 4 VO2 max bursts, erg mode's coming off for those that has a smart trainer or a smart bike. Okay, so zone 5, those 30-second efforts, that's the VO2 max sector. I always do this. I get the cursor and start waving it above the chart, but you can't see the cursor. But yeah, so that's zone 5. They're set out around 115% of FTP. They're a solid 9 out of 10 effort. So those are all about kind of waking your legs up, getting those fast twitch muscle fibers going, because you are going to need them for those main intervals, because they are anaerobic. Don't know why I said it like that, but they are. So, fluids on board, leg speed upwards of 80 RPM. Let's get ready to go. So, the workout itself. We get through those fast pedaling efforts. You then got a nice cruising sector to kind of recover a little bit, get some more fluids on board. We'll have a quick chat about bits and bobs. Because do remember, this is an interactive session, so you've got questions at any point, guys. For those that are on Zoom, you can unmute yourself, use the Zoom chat, or you can use the RGT chat. For those on the live stream, you can obviously use the RGT chat if you're following along there on the live session. Or you can leave comments on the live stream, and we will answer them. Yeah, so through the fast pedaling efforts for these 4 VO2 spikes, nice cruising sector where we can have a chat if people feel inclined. And then, guys, we've got those 3 meaty looking little mother hubbers. Okay, those guys, we're gonna be out of erg mode, and we're just gonna be turning and burning, going as hard as we can. They're 2 minutes long. Okay, and yes, there's a target. I think the target is set around what we set at 105, about 130 or 40% of FTP. Apologies, I've got the wrong kind of session read up. I've got it in watts rather than percentage. Yeah, so they're very high power basically. You don't really need to think about the targets, because as I say, it's essentially just a full gas effort for 2 minutes, and 2 minutes is a long time. Okay, so anyone that's experienced a bit of e-racing, quite often you're racing, you're turning yourself inside out for 2-3 minutes, climbing a hill, or just trying to get yourself back onto the wheel so you can recover a little bit in the group. Yeah, they're tough, but very necessary if you want to get better at e-racing. Also an opportunity to pick up some new peak power personal bests. Talk about that after the fast pedaling efforts. Don't worry if that means absolutely nothing to you. Yeah, lovely recovery in between though. Then we've got a cruising sector once we've gotten through those 3 2-minute efforts. That's at a tempo level. So for zone 3, should feel like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 effort. And then 3 1-minute intervals at the end. Exact same premise, just as hard as you can go for 1 minute. Power's higher. So I think it's about 150% of FTP. Can't quite remember, it doesn't really matter because it's just full gas for a minute. And again, once again, an opportunity to pick up a personal best over 1 minute. Anyway, right, so let's focus on what we're doing because we've got about 15 seconds till we kick off. So, rev out the legs, make sure you're above at least 85 RPM now. We've got a VO2 burst, here we go, come on. So revving up, so it's 30 seconds. So there's some real juice behind this. Waking up those legs. Want your leg speed upwards of 100 RPM, okay? Really spin them up. Try relaxing the upper body so your bum stays planted. Last 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, good stuff, guys. Back down to cruising level, about 65% of FTP. Bring your legs back up to above 80 RPM. It's nice and cruisy. So 3 more of those. So these are, we normally do quite short fast pedaling efforts, around 30 seconds or if not shorter. And we usually do only a couple of them, 2 or 3. Today we're doing just 1 more really, and they're a bit higher powered than normal. But that's because we need to be really warm by the time we hit those 2 minutes. Otherwise, 1, you're going to feel lethargic, or 2, you're just, those legs have there's a risk they might go pop, and I mean in an injury sense. So really need to make sure that you're good to go. And also it is cold in the UK, your northern hemisphere. Got to get those lungs going as well. Right, here we go, round 2 of the fast pedaling effort. Spin those legs up. Come on guys. I need to follow my own voice and get the legs going. Last 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And relax. Well done, guys. 2 down, 2 to go. Time for the fan, I think. Oh, that's nice. I'm not lying when I say this base layer is thermal. It is warm. Alright. Anyway, not going back to the plugging. Done enough of that for one session. 30 seconds, then we're into round 3 of 4. Still just taking sips of water or hydration drink, whatever you got. Okay, last 3 seconds. Cheers for the wave, Stephen. Okay, rev them up then, guys. Come on. Get those legs going. Upwards of 100 RPM. Keep it going. Halfway. Last 2 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, good stuff. Well done. That's 3 down, 1 to go. Don't worry if you're thinking, God, I'm going to be gassed before we get started. That's why we've got a nice long cruise sector. It's going to bring your heart rate down a little bit, recycle some of the lactate, so don't stress. I know when I do this session, I get to the 4th one and I'm like, oh God, this is going to be a long day. Don't worry about it. Okay, it's a bit of an aggressive sort of wake up for the body, but then we allow you to kind of chill out a little bit and kind of get focused, so don't stress. Okay, we've just got 1 more fast pedaling effort to go. Then we're going to cruise, but also going to turn erg mode off for those that have got a smart bike or smart trainer. I'll show you how to do that if you are not familiar. Right, let's get ready to go round 4. Let's see if we can get well above that 110 RPM target. See if we can top out at 120 this effort. Ready? 2, 1, here we go, come on. Spin up those legs, let's go, 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 go. Relaxing the upper body, it will help you from bouncing and maintaining such a high leg speed for another 10 seconds. Right, pick it up, Akers, come on. That's my surname, by the way. I talk to myself. Okay. Good stuff, excellent stuff, guys. Now you can relax, chill out. So, what I'm going to do now, guys, take your time over this. Don't feel you have to rush to do it. We've got plenty of time. Got a nice 5 minutes of cruising. Okay. So what you're going to do, guys, this is just for people with a smart trainer or a smart bike. If you've got a power meter and non-smart trainer combo, don't need to listen to this next bit. Just those for a smart bike and smart trainer. Going to get you to go to the menu, hit the sensors tab, and there's top right, we've got an erg mode tab. So I'm going to get you to turn it off. Okay, you can leave it. So what will happen now is your trainer will start to simulate the gradients of the course. And you can actually change that. If you want to, you can turn the trainer difficulty right down to 0. And what will happen is then your trainer will simulate a perfectly flat course. Okay, and it's a really good thing to do when you're doing efforts like this, because it just means that you can have a level of consistency in terms of comparing your training. So, you know, if you do 2 minutes, if you do these 2 minutes efforts in this session, we will be doing more 2-minute efforts in other sessions. So if you have got that perfectly flat gradient simulated, it does mean that your data will be comparable. Because otherwise, particularly on this course, you know, it's pretty flat, but it is, you know, so a few little dips and stuff. Alternatively, you could just keep it 100% and just make sure you do the same course next time, which will be difficult if you're doing our sessions because we mix it up. So yeah, that would be my advice. I'm going to turn it back on because I'm not training. I need to keep my power consistent because I've already trained today. In fact, just before this session, and to be honest with you, I'm pretty tired. So I need to keep my power consistent. But anyone with a smart trainer or smart bike, turn that off, because we do not want erg mode to limit what you can achieve in this session. Erg mode will make you hit a constant power. We don't want that. In those 2 minutes and those 1 minute efforts, we just want you to go as hard as you can. Okay? So hopefully you'll be able to beat the kind of arbitrary target that we set. Alternatively, if you're not on a good day, you still want to just go full gas and not worry about the power, because some days you've got good sprint legs, some days you don't. Okay, so don't stress about that. I talked earlier about peak powers. So one of the things you might want to check out, if you like a little bit of competition and you like a bit of e-racing, check out our power ranking project. Okay, so we launched it about beginning of this month, about 3 weeks ago. Okay, what we're doing, guys, is we're getting people to submit their peak power data, and then we're going to create a hierarchy, a table, a league table of where people are in terms of how their different peak powers rank. And what are peak powers, you ask? Well, basically it's your personal best and max power that you can put out over particular durations. So your 5-second power, your 1 minute power, your 5-minute power, and your FTP. Okay, so those are the peak powers that you can use more, but those are the ones that we're focusing on because they in particular relate to different energy systems in your body. Okay, we've only got a minute, so I'm not going to go into that. I will go into that in the tempo sector towards the end, but basically different metabolic changes in your body. So 5 seconds is your sprint power, 1 minute is your anaerobic power, 5 is your VO2 max, and your FTP is your functional threshold power, also known as your aerobic capacity. So our power ranking project is designed to gather that data from people so that they can see where they stack up in comparison to their mates. Or if you keep getting your ass kicked by somebody in the same person or same people in an e-race, hopefully they would have contributed and you'll be able to see kind of where you're losing out to them. And so the idea is just make training a bit more competitive and a bit more motivating as well as racing, because also you guys, if you're joining the e-racer Supreme Series, you might be into e-racing, but the idea is it also gives a bit of competition to those who don't like that kind of direct contact competition of e-racing and are just more motivated to train. Anyway, right, so let's get our mind on the session. We've got a few seconds now. We're going 2 minutes, full gas, nice high leg speed. You want to be probably upwards of 100 RPM. Here we go, come on. 2 minutes. So it's a long time, guys. So you're going hard and you're just trying to hold it. Just do your best. It's a 10 out of 10 full gas effort, but it's a long one. We're going purely anaerobic. You can largely ignore the power target. Just go as hard as you can for the full 2 minutes. Okay, you've got lovely recovery afterwards. Pure recovery. So don't hold back. Okay, 30 seconds is down already. Keep driving it on. Keep it going, keep it going. Come on, guys. Drive it, drive it, drive it. Okay, you're coming up towards halfway. Come on, 60 seconds. Let's pick it up. Come on, come. Come on, guys, you can do this. Approaching 30 seconds to go. Ready, ready, ready. 30 seconds, come on. Let's kick, let's push, let's lift the effort. "20, you're nearly there. When we get to 10, that's the finishing sprint, okay? Ready, ready. Here we go, come on, 10 seconds. Push, 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 push. Drive, 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 drive. All the way to the end, all the way. 3, 2, 1. Yes, guys. Yes, guys. Relax. Relax. Okay, good stuff. Well done. Just breathe. Just turn your legs over. Try not to stop completely. It'll be really hard to get going again. Turn your legs over nice and easy. We're down to about 40% of FTP, so pure recovery. Zone 1. Well done. Zone 1, if you're interested, if those are interested in their training zones, is anything below 55% of FTP, so proper cruisy, proper chilled. We've got a lovely 3 minutes of recovery. First minute is nearly over. But well done, guys. Don't worry if you found that absolutely brutal. It's a horrible effort, but if you've done any racing, you'll know that will feel very familiar, that type of effort. All kinds of contexts you'd be doing that sort of thing. Usually on like a short climb, maybe like, I don't know, maybe 750 to 100 meters long, to 750 to a kilometer long. You might be driving that hard for that length of time for. Okay. A good example is the Leuven circuit on the Wahoo RGT. There's 3 or 4 climbs that fulfill that sort of criteria. 90 to 3 minutes long, 90 seconds and 3 minutes long, sorry. Just pure anaerobic power. And that's the sort of context that we have in mind when we're doing these types of efforts, okay, guys? So if it helps, imagine that. Perhaps could have chosen a better course, but then we wouldn't have been able to do it out of erg mode, really. Okay, so 60 seconds. Try not to have little sips, try not to gulp any water. Hopefully you've hydrated beforehand. You take big gulps, there's a real risk it might not stay down. Okay, so it's little sips. You're gonna have time after these 2 minutes efforts to get the fluids back on board properly. So just try and be a bit restrained. That's not being cruel, that's just, I've seen it happen. Not good. Okay, 30 seconds. So pick your leg speed back up, get well above 85 RPM, get ready to do the business again. It's 2 minutes, okay? So let's see if you can try and hit a similar sort of average power over the course of it. On Wahoo RGT, your average power does flash up quickly at the end of each interval. You'll see it in about 10 seconds for this recovery interval. Don't worry about hitting the recovery target. Just spin up your legs, get ready to drop the hammer again. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go then. Come on. That's it, guys. That's it. See those numbers turning red on the leaderboard. That's good stuff. Just keep hitting the red, keep driving it on as best you can. We're out of erg mode so that we can ebb and flow and hopefully beat the target if we can. Okay, 30 seconds is down. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, drive it, drive it, drive it. You're approaching halfway. Okay, try and pick it up a little bit. You're into the final 60 seconds. .45. Come on, guys. Drive it, drive it, drive it, drive it, drive it. You're nearly there. Okay, 30 seconds is coming up in 2, 1. Come on, let's kick. 30 seconds, let's kick it. And then when we get to 10, finishing sprint. Ready, 10 seconds. Come on, drive it. Sprint, 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 sprint. 3, 2, 1. Good, good, good. So Steve, I can see you on RGT. Keep driving it, mate. Well done, everyone. Just breathe. Deep breath back. Okay, well done. So guys, if because these sometimes what happens in these sessions is that when you do such a fast, high-powered effort like that, when you finish it, the power changes so dramatically that your trainer has to spin down a little bit and kind of catch up with itself. And so what you might get is that sometimes Wahoo RGT might actually pause and you fall behind the workout as a result. Ideally, it'd be so perfectly synced so that, you know, even if you stop pedaling, your workout will carry on. Well, for me, I know for you guys that might not be ideal. But basically, if you fall behind on the workout, guys, you can catch up, but be very careful. I'll show you how, but be very careful. Okay, so if you need to skip intervals and catch up, you just go to the workout menu, save now again, and then you got this skip interval. And be careful, because you don't really get much feedback when you press that button. So sometimes it's not clear whether it's kind of registered that you've clicked it. So just press it once, and sometimes it will take 10-15 seconds before it changes, okay? So you want to do it in advance. You're not going to be able to get it synced back up to the workout perfectly, but if you are way behind, you can do it. I would suggest not doing it before this next interval, okay? because you don't want to cut down the amount of recovery you've got. So if you're out of sync, just stay out of sync for a few more minutes. You'll have plenty of time to sort it out. But as I say, just press it the once, wait. It will eventually work. Okay. We often we look after a squad of triathletes and cyclists as part of our coaching programs, and we're forever having to deal with problems where people have fallen behind and then skip too often because they've just jabbed the button because they're not sure it's worked. Anyway, to deal with after this next interval, 15 seconds if you're in sync with me. Let's get ready to push it one last time before we've got a long recovery break. Okay, so 5 seconds. 3. Oh, no, there's a 4 there. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Come on, back up to our zone 6. This is okay. So we're above 120% of FTP. Hopefully, that's the kind of borderline for zone 6. Get that leg speed nice and high. Mine's way too slow. You need to be well above 90, probably over 100 RPM. Try not to push it with a really heavy big gear. You'll get tired more quickly. Push a nice high cadence. 30 down. 90 to go. Okay, coming up towards halfway. There we go, 60 seconds. Come on, pick it up. Let's push on a little bit harder now. Come on. "45 seconds. Stay strong, everyone. Okay, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Come on, pick up, pick up, pick up. Lift that leg speed, lift that power. "20 seconds. Last 10, all the way to the end. Last few seconds. Come on, come on. There you go, guys. Well done. Apologies if you see me laughing. There's a very naughty puppy that's just snuck into the room. I'm not laughing at any of you guys, don't worry. Well done, guys. It's being wrestled out. Literally wrestled. Well done, guys. Really well done. Okay, so that's the 2-minute efforts. In my personal opinion, those are the worst possible intervals in training. Full stop. Give me sprints, 1-minute effort, anything up to, give me over 2 minutes, give me 3 minutes. 2 minutes, personally, it's just, that's how I know hell exists. Okay? I'm not religious. Let's not go into religion. It's just an expression. Right. So, recover, guys. Don't worry too much about the power target. Just spin up your legs, get them back above 80 RPM. It will help you recover. You've got tons of recovery. You've got this 2 minutes of pure recovery. And then we're going up to tempo. Okay, so tempo is that zone 3 area. I'll get my trusty little training zones chart again. So that zone 3 area, between 76 and 90% of FTP, we're going to be sitting kind of in the middle at 80%, and we're going to be there for 7 minutes. Okay, so it's going to be a strong effort. It should be hard. It should feel like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 effort when we get there. Okay, so you should still be able to recover at that level. Just won't be as comfortable as it is now. Not that you're comfortable. The effort should be comfortable-ish, kind of, hopefully. Okay, so we've got plenty of time to talk, guys. So if anyone's got any questions at any point, you might just be kind of piecing together the parts of your soul. For some reason I've got quite a religious theme going on this evening. Not intentional. Anyway, so we talked about kind of the purpose of this, the types of e-racing efforts, the context in which you will be experiencing these types of 2-minute, 1-minute efforts. So we talked about climbs, those sort of 750 meter to kilometer type climbs, short, punchy, full gas efforts. This is the type of stuff that the guys like Van der Poel, Marianne Vos, Van Vleuten, etc., you know, the top dogs, this is their kind of like territory. This is where they blow people away, because they can just go so horribly deep. You know, other than talent, fitness, and just capability, the area where I most differ from those guys is the 2-minute efforts. So yeah, if you block out the overwhelming lack of talent and all the other factors, yeah, it's the 2-minute effort. That's the main difference, because I just hate it. Anyway, right, so this is the tempo effort. So we're still out of erg mode for those that are on smart bikes or smart trainers. Just do your best to hit the target. Okay, get that cadence upwards of 85 RPM. And let's just take a moment to relax, draw the shoulders away from the ears, and just try and get into some sort of rhythm. Okay, what we're experiencing here, guys, is we need as to structure the session so that they're high quality intervals that are going to trigger a physiological response. We need to give you plenty of recovery between their 2-minute intervals, because we're not necessarily working too much on speed endurance in this session. We're working on trying to build that top end power. So speed endurance would be where we would do lots of intervals with very little recovery and just kind of see how much your power drops off. This is more about pure explosivity and building that strength. So in order to kind of get the best out of you, we've got this long block of recovery, but, and this will seem counterintuitive, we can't have the whole block as pure recovery, because what will happen is your heart rate will drop too much and your legs will become lethargic. It's like when you have a cafe stop on a long ride, your legs go heavy and it's really hard to get going. So if we gave you pure recovery now rather than the tempo effort that we're doing, the 1-minute intervals in about 5 minutes time, they would be rubbish. Okay, because you'd be cold, your muscles would have gone to sleep essentially. Yeah, like I say, it sounds counterintuitive, but yeah, it's real. Okay, so we're doing these e-racing type efforts, but also they should give you some good data to contribute to our peak power ranking hierarchy if you want to. So this here is the Coggin charts. Andy Coggin is a well-known exercise physiologist and probably one of the godfathers of modern cycling training. But you can see here, these are the kind of peak power hierarchy. So essentially what we can do with these charts is see where you stack in the realm of cycling. Okay, so you can see how your 5-second, 1-minute, 5-minute and FTP stack up against everybody up to world-class pros. Okay, and that is, it's useful, it's quite cool, but in terms of kind of like it'll tell you where you're not as good, where you're better. But if you think about kind of comparing, so the vast majority of amateur cyclists usually have if they're good, they're really fit, they usually have a pretty decent FTP, pretty decent VO2 max power for 5 minutes, but then their anaerobic stuff isn't great if you're pushing their data into these charts. And that's because when we're talking world class, we're talking track sprinters. Okay, so their 5-second power, their 20-second, their 1-minute power is going to be insane because that is their job. Okay, so you're not only kind of competing against world-class kind of pro cyclists out on the Tour de France, etc., but you're also competing against track cyclists, BMX riders when it comes to the short duration power. So nobody really can plug their information into those charts and get like a balanced view of where they are in the scheme of things, because it's just too large a field. So what we're trying to do with our power ranking hierarchy is allow people, predominantly the Wahoo RGT community, to see where they stack up in the realm of amateur riders or semi-pro, or however high the Wahoo RGT hierarchy goes. So that's the basic purpose of it, so that when you see, oh, okay, that guy is smashing me in that finishing sprint every week. One of the reasons he's beating me might be tactical, but one of the reasons he might be beating me is because his 1 minute and his anaerobic effort, his anaerobic power, his 5 second and his 1 minute power are quite a bit higher than me. So he's just got that extra juice. He might be knackered, but just inherently he's got that extra juice when he has to switch on his fast twitch muscle fibers. Okay, and so that's kind of what we're looking to do with that power ranking hierarchy. So one of the things you can do hopefully from this session is you'll, after the next 3 intervals, have a good idea of what your 1 minute power is like, and you can plug it into our power ranking hierarchy when we release it, or you will have done, sorry, if you've answered our questionnaire, and you'll see where you sit. So that, yeah, we don't make any money out of it, in case you're wondering. Power ranking hierarchy, it's just something we wanted to do, and we thought it'd be fun, and we thought it might help people. And obviously we're going to try and push you towards training plans, etc., but you don't have to buy them. Okay. Yeah, just thought it'd be fun. It's something we wanted to do for a long time, and something we tried to work with Wahoo RGT on, but obviously then the merger came and it's kind of fallen off both of our to-do list really. So we picked it up and finished it off, or finishing it off. So yeah, please do contribute. Be worth it. Anyway, back to the session, because we've got about a minute left at riding tempo. So just check where your leg speed is. Get it back above 85 RPM, ideally above 90. Just spin up the legs, try and shake out the upper body, just relax. You've got a minute, 50 seconds or so until we really hit. So this time it's only 60 seconds. It's still quite a long sort of full gas effort, but a hell of a lot better than 2 minutes. So don't think about it. Don't try and pace it too much. Just go, okay? Just go. You're not going to be able to think about it too much when you're e-racing. You just react, and that's the kind of response we want when we're doing this. Because one of the things you want to look at after the session is when your power starts to really drop off, if it does. I'll talk about that after this next interval. So 10 seconds, get ready, rev up those legs, get ready to drop into that big gear in 3, 2, 1. Here we go, come on guys. Push. There's not much time to think on this one, thankfully. Just drive it as hard as you can, 45 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds, let's kick, come on, let's lift it, let's lift it. Finishing sprint at 10 to go. $15, $12, $11, let's kick, come on, finishing sprint, 10 seconds, come on, push, push, push. 3, 2, 1. Well done. Good stuff, everyone. Really good stuff. Spin up. Get your breath back. Really well done. So that one in particular, hopefully you recovered reasonably well and got some good data out of that. You'll be able to look at 2 things after this session. One, what is your best average power over the 1 minute? Plug it into our power ranking questionnaire if you want. And 2, see on the 2 minute and the 1 minute intervals, just have a look at your data afterwards and like, at what point do you start to really fail? Because, you know, we all got power, but it's really hard to keep building and going for the full minute or 2 minutes. Yeah, pretty much impossible if you're going hard enough. So at what point does that line go from maybe going up or kind of dropping slowly to then dropping much faster. Where is that big drop off? Because that's going to tell you something. If it happens 20 seconds, one, you might be going too hard too early, or two, you just don't have very good anaerobic conditioning and it's something you really need to work on. Or is it happening at 35, 40 seconds, maybe in 50 seconds suddenly it goes off a cliff? That's telling us the opposite. If you're able to hold it that long into the 1 minute interval, that's saying something good. And then, albeit we're not working on speed endurance too much in this session, compare the intervals. Okay, your first interval for 2 minutes and your first interval for the 1 minute efforts should be your highest one. Okay, probably will be your highest one. But the second and third intervals for both blocks, how do they compare? Okay, how big is that drop off between them? It's probably going to be relatively significant because they're so high powered and there's not enough pure recovery really to be able to match it. But how extensive, how significant is the drop off? Anyway, that's for after the session. Now though, just start to pick up your legs again. Get your cadence well above 85 RPM. Get ready to push back into that big old gear that you're going to smash and keep a nice high cadence on. Because you've got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go then. Come on. Round 2. Penultimate effort of the session. Come on, drive it, drive it, drive it, drive it, drive it. Come on guys, come on guys. Don't allow your cadence to go low like I just did. Keep it nice and high, well above 90, upwards of 100 RPM. Coming up to halfway. Okay, pick it up, 30 seconds, come on. $20. Ready, finishing sprint is coming up in a few seconds time. Let's get ready to empty the tank. 13, 12, 11, 10, let's go for it, come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Whew. Really good job, guys. Do not worry about the power targets. Do not worry if the interval's gone red. It might have gone red because you're well above the target. If it might be well below, who cares? This is all about just going as hard as you can. Okay, we have to stick in some sort of target, but it doesn't matter whether you reach it really. It's all about working out what is your best, what are your capabilities over 2 minutes and 1 minute. Okay, we're often very obsessed with doing everything perfectly. Everything has to go green. Personally, I hate traffic light systems. Same in Training Peaks. Wahoo RGT and Training Peaks, fantastic resources. It's just one of the things that I personally don't like about them. You don't necessarily, if you've got a number, your average power is below the target, you don't need a traffic light to tell you that you haven't met the target, in my opinion. It's not helpful. And also, this session is not about all greens. I'll be surprised if you've got all greens. Okay, I know I don't when I do it. So don't worry about it. Just do your best in each of the intervals. Keep that positivity. We've got this final interval to go. Okay, if you're interested, guys, this session quantifies out as 70 TSS, training stress. That stands for training stress score, a quantification of the training load. I've got to be honest, this is a much harder session than 70 TSS. So don't worry about that number either. I know some people live their lives by TSS, CTL, ATL, blah, blah, blah. Acronym. Sessions can be harder than the quantification because if you've got fatigue or you've been stressed all day or maybe just not on a good day, doesn't matter what the quantification is, it's just hard. Right, so let's pick up the positivity though. We've got 20 seconds to hit the final one. Okay, just think of this as the final effort in a race, okay? And then that final 10 seconds we're going to kick. That's to the finish line, okay? So 10 seconds, rev up the legs. Get ready to feed in that gear in 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's go then, come on. Up we go. Zone 6, full gas 10 out of 10 effort for a full 60 seconds. Just think of this as the final effort in a race. You made the first group. They're just charging towards that finish line. You've got maybe like, let's say, a kilometer left, and you're just driving it on. And then in the final 10 seconds, we're going to empty the tank in that final sprint for the finish line. Come on, you're nearly there, guys. Last effort of the session, 25 seconds. 20, come on, lift it, lift it, lift it. Rev it up, get ready. We're coming in towards the final few hundred meters. 200's coming up. Ready, 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 ready. Let's go, come on. 10 seconds, sprint, sprint, sprint. Empty the tank. Come on, guys. 3, 2, 1. Yes. Well done, everyone. Well done. And breathe, guys. And breathe. Sorry, I was trying to write something on the chat, on the RGT chat. I'll wait to the end. Well done, guys. Just spin up the legs. No more effort, no more work to do. Get the fluids back on board. Make sure you have a really nice high protein meal after this. Repair some of the muscle damage you've done. Plenty of fluids on board. Have a nice stretch. You are going to stiffen up like a plank if you do not stretch after a session like this. So just quick illustration of that, guys. If you've got a good setup on your bike, even at the bottom of the pedal stroke, you should have somewhere around a 15-degree bend in your knee still. So at no point actually on a proper fit are you fully extending your leg, which means that for cyclists, one of the reasons they can often have bad posture is because they're doing this repetitive action, but their hamstring isn't fully extending. And so it's just going to a certain level and coming back, all over and over again. And so you can get a tightening, a shortening of the hamstring. And that's where we start to double over a little bit, or we can't touch our toes, etc. So stretch after every session, and in particular after kind of brutal sessions like this, guys, okay? You're gonna see all kind of people talking about static stretching on YouTube. Always get the questions about it. It doesn't necessarily aid recovery as such, but it is injury prevention. If your joint is restricted and not unable to go through its full range, it's probably going to have some sort of effect somewhere. Not normally the source of the pain, but could well create issues elsewhere. Okay, so guys, yeah, stretch after every session. Make sure you're maintaining your mobility. Cycling is a posture killer. It's a serial killer for your mobility. Too many Netflix documentaries. But guys, yeah, hopefully I've said that enough. Anyway, just sort of 35 seconds or so of the session. Just spin up your legs, flush out some of that lactate, just recycle it in your legs. Just hopefully feel a little bit easier. Have your stretch, protein and hydration afterwards. But guys, hopefully you kind of enjoyed that session. Personally, I hate the 2-minute efforts, but I really like sessions like this where you're not thinking so much about numbers. It's just full gas, hard effort. Sometimes it's so nice to do a session like that where you're just not having to think, you're just hurting yourself. A bit sadistic, but hopefully you feel great now, or just maybe in about half an hour you'll feel great. But there you go, guys, that's your session. Please do, Power Ranking Project, please do contribute if you fancy it. Yeah, we're really excited about it. There you go, guys. If anyone's got any questions, I'll stick around, but otherwise I'm going to close the live stream down now. And have yourself a great rest of the day.